How would I approach a woman? All right, this is a new playlist. For those who have been following me recently, my Eurasian Negroid cultural awareness playlist, so to speak. Uh, this is a separate one. This is a different playlist about romance, masculinity, dating in general. The primary target audience for this would actually be my children. What I want is to make sure that I leave wisdom behind for my children in the same way that I left wisdom behind for them in the most recent revision of my memoir that I published several years ago. So I'm making all of this public because I'm sure that, the value that I have will be helpful to a lot of people out there. But the primary target audience for this would be my children. I'm taking in questions and answering them, but as it stands, even though I may take in questions, I'm doing Q&A in my inbox with other people, and I'm turning those into videos. The Eurasian Negroid playlist will continue, but it's not going to be the only playlist on the channel. I'm absolutely going to branch off into other topics. Eventually, I'm going to go into physics and engineering. I mean, it's just really this YouTube channel is just simply me, right? And this is the start of a new one pertaining as a new playlist pertaining to masculinity, dating, and romance. And I'm saving my wisdom for posterity, so that not only it's public, so that other people can benefit from it as well. But the primary target audience would be future generations of my line. Okay, so with this in mind, how would I approach a woman? Am I really getting former Andrew Tate fans in my inbox? Hopefully he's not guilty of what he's charged with, because at the time this was written, what catalyzed this into fruition was, and I'm going off script, what's written on the screen. What catalyzed this into fruition was Andrew Tate was arrested. And I'm getting some of his fans who have been following my development. They simultaneously follow him and Andrew Tate as well as me. And there are strict differences between, even though I would say we're very masculine men, there are strict differences between Andrew Tate's wisdom and mine, as well as our morals. And I'm getting, every once in a while I'll get questions that someone like Andrew Tate would have answered, that I'm no longer ignoring. I'm acknowledging this and turning this into its own playlist, right? So, am I really getting former Andrew Tate fans in my inbox? Hopefully he's not guilty of what he's charged with, but I'm seeing on a very small scale more dudes ask me questions as they determine him not to be the best male mentor for them. How to approach a woman? My honest response: don't. Not in this day and age, unless you get sustained eye contact first, right? And that's a big unless. A big unless. Don't approach women at all unless you get sustained eye contact first, right? Screw the YouTube videos of the dudes who seem to never miss. No, they just cut out the 400 plus times they were actually coldly rejected, and then just presented the 1 or 2 times where they actually did land a number successfully, assuming that the girl wasn't even a paid actress that they negotiated the act of with ahead of time, right? And there's a lot of opportunity for sexual harassment allegations in this third wave feministic era if you're just going to be going out approaching woman after woman trying to build your skill, right? Don't take the risk. It's just illogical to risk it unless she has already noticed you and indicated with her body language that she is already receptive to you. Okay, so be perceptive, aware, alert. Who is already looking at you, receptive to your presence? Lock eyes with them. Hold it for 2 to 3 seconds to confirm. If you cannot hold her gaze for 2 to 3 seconds, don't bother going to the next step. Okay, she might have just been looking around and stopped at you for a second, or just looked at something she's just so happened to have noticed. Abandon the notion that you are the hunter. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but listen, you telling yourself that you're the hunter is your ego. Your ego distorts the reality of the signals that you will or will not receive. If you see yourself as the hunter, you'll be more likely to pull a Gaston, right, in reference to Beauty and the Beast, and interrupt the girl in the library, so to speak, who is just really just trying to enjoy her book. All right, don't be that guy. No, remember, her perception of you is her reality of you. Let's say you are tall and have muscles. That can be a great thing or it can be a terrible thing in her perception, depending on how you approach, right? If she's reading a book and you tap her on the shoulder or something, you'd have uncomfortably snapped her out of her fantasy world, only to present her with a tall, foreboding figure that could potentially hurt her. Even if she actually would have found you attractive in a different context, a different timing, and like business, timing is everything. Right? Whether you are viewed as a competent protector or a dangerous threat often comes from the same ingredients of a man. So abandon the archaic idea that you are the hunter. Instead, think of yourself as an antenna. You are sending out subliminal signals with how you look, how you carry yourself, where you are, etc., that by default subcommunicate your value. If a woman may suspect that you would be valuable to her, she will pick up the signals of your presence from across the room if she's already primed for that kind of communication. Sustained eye to eye contact for 2 to 3 seconds with a pleasant or intrigued facial expression is typically a subcommunicated green light. She's likely already decided that she'd give you her number before you'd even approached, because that she's a sexual creature just like you are. At that point, no pickup lines or quippy puns are necessary. You can literally just be direct and say something along the lines of, "Hi, I noticed you were looking at me. Is there something in my face? No? Okay, well, I'll be straightforward and just say that I find you to be very attractive. I'm here to do X, Y, and Z, but it's good that I found you here. So that after, if you'd like to get a coffee or something, we can." Right? That's simple. That's all it takes. Right? The battle is won before you even approach. Don't chase girls. Build your value. See who is receptive to your perceived value. Address who they are. If a woman really likes you, she will make it very easy for you. All right? If women aren't noticing you, then that means work harder on yourself until they do. If some women are noticing you, but not the ones you like, that just means that you are not at high enough of an attractiveness tier. So work even harder on yourself until they do. Right? It could be a matter of cultural adaptation on your part as well. What you thought was high status in your cultural point of view may not be what is high status in her cultural point of view. Calibrate and optimize yourself accordingly, and that is all. All right, and Thomas Gold says this so much better than all the recent popular dating advice. Yeah, it's like with this playlist that I'm starting, there's no buy-in course. It's just simply, hey, I'm not hiding any of my wisdom. I'm just my kids are my target audience. And that's it. All right, I'm not bullshitting. Just that this is how I would approach Mike's method.